Greetings and salutations. Thank you for clicking on the video. My name is Smith and I'm going to show you how to read construction drawings, and we're starting off this process by looking at the general sheets. The general sheets are the first set of drawings that's usually in a construction document, and I'm not going to waste any more of your time just blabbering. Let's go ahead and get into the set of drawings that I have. Here we have the Holabird Academy in Baltimore, and shout out to you if you're from Baltimore. This is called the cover sheet. All right, so this is the first sheet in the general sheets, like I mentioned, but we're only going to be covering the cover sheet in this video. All right, so there's some obvious things about the cover sheet. You can see the name, the title of the project, and the location, a nice little rendering. And but I want to go focus here on this first little deal here. You're going to want to know, what stage of the what stage of the design process this particular set of drawings is in. And so you can see here, this is the bid set. Now, bid set, that basically means, and this is a term that basically means that it's an incomplete set of drawings. So they're going to be adding more detail to this later, but it's enough information in here for you to be able to put this out to construction companies, and they can give you a proposal on how much it'll cost to perform the work. And next, you'll see that the owner is the Baltimore City Public Schools, and then it lists out the design team. Now, I'm assuming that not everybody knows, but the architects are generally who you hear about when in terms of designing a building. But there's actually a design team, and the architects are part of it. So you have many different types of architects. You got a landscape architect, as a matter of fact, and then there's a civil engineer and a structural engineer. And then you have the acoustic engineer that will probably have some input on places like a auditorium, different places in a classroom where acoustics is so important that you should get an acoustic engineer to look at it. You can usually find this box somewhere, but this is going to tell you how big the building really is. You got your grand total. So I was, if someone were to ask, I would say that this is a 94,332 square foot building. So that's including the basement, first floor, and the second floor. There's that breakdown there. This box will also list out the sets of drawings that have been released previously, along with their dates and the descriptions. So what you may see in a description is something like an addendum, which meaning something was added to it. The same thing for ASI, which stands for Architect Supplemental Information. Those might be listed here in the description as what the package is for. All right, now we're going to go up to the top left and we're going to work our way down. So you got the vicinity map here. This is a good thing to look at, or you could use Google Earth. But let me zoom in here because I want to show you something. All right, so I think we can see where the Holabird comes from. It's actually a street right there. So you may use this to get an idea of what the site is like, seeing what kind of access there is as far as main roads, because you're doing construction, so you'll need to have construction trucks in and out. You may need to set up a crane somewhere for a couple of days or week or so. You may also want to be aware, obviously this is a school, so it's going to be some houses nearby. So you're going to want to pay attention to sound and the time that the sound is at a high decibel rate. And so looking at the vicinity map, just glancing at it will give you an idea of what's going on there. So we're going to stay in the top left-hand corner and kind of slide our way down to the abbreviations. It's going to list out things that are going to be on the drawings, and you'll probably need to refer to this a time or two just to see what the abbreviations mean. Now, I'll also say that some abbreviations will be on the sheet that you're looking at. So this is just kind of generalized for the whole set of documents, but You may have some specialized sheets that have their own abbreviations, and those will be on that sheet. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, I will apologize for scrolling up and down just then, but I will say that the abbreviations, maybe I'll make a video of some commonly used abbreviations, but I will give you one. Above finished floor, AFF. If you don't know what that means, basically it's seen on ceiling drawings for the most part where I see it. And so like on a reflected ceiling plan that's showing the ceiling, it will indicate what the elevation of the ceiling is. So let's say it's a 9-foot high ceiling, but it'll also say AFF by the 9 foot. That lets you know that above the finished floor. So that, sometimes some floors are thicker than others, right? So carpet is a lot more thicker than, I don't know, like a thin linoleum, or sometimes you have tile that's pretty thick. So you have to take all that into consideration. What is the thickness of the finished floor, not just the concrete slab, right? So that's what that means. All right, we're going to scroll all the way down to the symbol of materials. The symbols of materials are basically the patterns that the architects will use to indicate different kinds of materials, like concrete. For instance, if we're looking at this wall right here, well, it lists out what's all going into this wall as far as material and things like that. But you can see as a visual aid that this here is concrete and rigid insulation right there, and gypsum board. So different things so that you can identify what's going on. Now I do want to park right here at the bottom of the page and talk about the drawing key. Now you really need to learn the drawing key. And if you learn this, you can pretty much take any set of plans and navigate your way through it pretty well. So let's dig into this. Now I'm not going to spend a lot on grid lines because most of you watching this video should know what they are. If you don't, by some chance, just think of like the old game Battleships, where you used to have to pinpoint where you want the missile to go and however that went. Grid lines help you to identify different locations on the project. So, let's say that we're fast forward and we're actually building this thing. Let's say I want to have a meeting about something in the field somewhere. I might call somebody and tell them to come to this location on your drawings, H14 or something. So that's even another way that you can still use the grid lines that's in the drawings as a reference. Now, here you have your section cuts. You're going to see a lot of section cuts, and you're normally going to see them on a floor plan. A section cut will slice across the floor plan, and this will indicate the direction that the section is looking. Now, the number here will be your sheet number. It's going to refer you to a page that will probably have a lot of different details on it. And this will be the detail number of the section that we're referring to. So let's see how that breaks down. Okay, so here's an example of our academy that we're looking at. We've got a section cut right here. As you can see, it's going to be looking this direction. So it's going to be looking at all of that's going to be looking at that wall. It's going to be looking at this wall, and it cuts all the way across here and has that little tail there. So this is going to take us to sheet A-4.2, and we're going to need to look at and find detail A18. Here is the section cut, and it's showing just what I said it was going to show. All right, another thing to look for is a detail call out. Now you'll see details in plans and sections both. A detail normally blows up a section even more so that you can see really what's all going into the particular thing that you're looking at. And, this is what's going to show you where the screws go in the wall, the insulation, depending on what it is, If it's like a concrete slab, it'll probably show the thickness of the concrete that's going to be poured. It'll show the size rebars to put in there, and all that sort of stuff will be in a detail. We're going to now look at this detail here of this wall. So let's go there. So this is the detail that we're looking for. And as you can see, it's indicating everything that's going on here with this wall. We've got 4 inches of masonry veneer, that's brick. Right here, you've got an airspace, it's 1.5 inches. And then it says you apply fluid applied air and moisture barrier. Right here, that's your insulated concrete form wall, and probably an impact resistant wall. We can from there go into even more detail and find out about the foundation. We're going to travel over to the right and look at the interior elevations. So the way the interior elevations work is it's going to refer to another sheet number. The sheet number is going to have a list of details, and if you want to see the elevation looking this way, you would look at that detail number. The same go for all of these other ones. It's going to take us to sheet A-6.2. And let's say we want to look at this wall, this south wall here, and we'll want to pay attention to E13. And yeah, that looks like we probably thought it would look. Now, the different labels that you're going to see on the drawings go as such. You've got the room name. So each room is going to have this block, this square around it, and a alphanumeric character like that. Whenever you see a square with an alphanumeric character, that is a room number, according to this set of drawings. And most of this stuff is typical from what I've seen before on other drawings. So they're not, you know, if you can understand the things in this video, you can leave with more knowledge than you had before, I guess. Okay, and similarly, you have the door number on the plan is what it says there. But basically, this identifies a door. And then, you know, you're seeing the pattern here. You got a square, a plain square with a number on it for identifying a hollow metal frame. So like a certain door frame or something like that. And then, now this is neither a room number, a door number, or any kind of frame. This is just a revision. And so this lists out which revision this is. And things like any type, you know, woodwork, casework is what this is saying. It's going to have that sort of a shape with it. Now, this last one that we'll look at here is your wall type. This is pretty important. Normally, you can find a partition schedule that's going to list out the different types of walls there are. You know, in a building, you're going to have some walls that need to be fire rated. So they're going to have maybe 2 layers of drywall on either side, or you may have a wall that's only one-sided, or you may have a wall that only goes to the ceiling, or one that goes all the way up to the next structure above, like the deck. So different wall types is going to indicate what type of wall it is, and you can usually find out the details about that in the partition schedule. All right, well, I hope you learned something in this here video. Be sure to go on to the next video and continue learning about construction drawings, and I'll see you guys next time.